The recently concluded campaign for woman MP for Houma witnessed plenty of bickering, name-calling and accusations among leaders of the Forum for Democratic Change and the People Power movement. This hostility, especially on social media platforms, is threatening efforts by both groups to have a joint candidate in the 2021 general elections. Now on the spot tonight, we host FDC National Mobilizer Ingrid Turinawe and the People Power spokesperson Ssenyonyi. Ingrid and Joel, thank you very much for having honored our invitation. You are on the spot, both of you, and a warm welcome.
Thank you.
I don't know how Joel to do this because just a few months ago you were my producer for this very show. But having said that, that producer kind of job.
I'm coming back as that Obi. It's a delight to be back home.
Sorry, Mr. Obi, because I'm not going to look at you from that kind of prism.
Bring it on, my brother.
Because you have decided to go the other side and leave the fourth estate, and the fourth estate will remain doing its job.
Absolutely.
And if it means to afflict you who are afflicting others, we shall. But if it means to praise you how we should, we could do that as well.
By the way, Joel is not new in politics. If he had not told you.
Okay.
And he has been a member of FDC. He has not returned our card. I don't know whether he will return it. I don't know whether he's still
on this show. After this show, Joel is going to produce his card and give it to the National Mobilizer of FDC. I didn't know you had I didn't know you had actually mobilized this man from our
Yes, we even gave him a flag.
You were a
that was 20.
Yes.
That was 2011.
That is.
And after that, I returned the card. I said,
you didn't return the card?
I did think, well, you are not the Secretary General then, but I didn't think I was fully ready at the time. Got back to news. Okay. And yeah, here we are, full throttle now.
Full throttle into the thing.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much once again. And the road to 2021 is on. We expect the opposition, the FDC, People Power, and everybody to be working like a well-oiled machine, in sync, if I may use that word. But the way how I see here, you are not in sync. There's less cohesion. And if you don't have that, Joel, then forget about State House.
Yes and no. It's a good thing that unity gets to happen. Ugandans have always asked for this to happen. From back in 2006, there was an attempt for the forces of change to unite. It didn't happen. Ugandans were heartbroken. In 2011, there was another attempt, IPC, Inter-Party Cooperation. It did not happen. They had so many Ugandans were broken. In 2016, there was another attempt, TDA, and this time people thought, finally, it's going to happen. It did not, and the hearts of many Ugandans were broken, which is very sad. Do you stop trying? I don't think so. You keep trying as much as you possibly can. Every so often, you'll drop the ball. But when you do, you pick it up. You pick it up. Politics is very interesting. It's murky waters. Sometimes you'll get yourself dirty. Sometimes you'll make other people dirty.
You've just given an account of the trials and tribulations. You try this and it fails. You try the other and it fails. Ugandans are internally hopeful that maybe this time around the opposition will come together. You don't. And let me show you videos. I'm not going to show you videos, but remind you about the video of you. Of your people. Videos were captured from Houma on the last rally showing People Power supporters blocking FDC President Patrick Oboy Amuriat from accessing the stage. And you wonder, if you speak for People Power and yet just like a week ago, what your guys were doing was totally unbecoming.
Look, campaigns, I don't know if you've been to a campaign, to a rally, it can get boisterous sometimes, it gets heated and then all of that. And by the way, the bickering is, gets to happen, not just one entity to another, even in-house, it gets to happen. You get charged up because even within the different camps, you find, so this one is not coordinating very well with this one, there'll be a disagreement and all of that. And it's normal. It's normal.
It's not normal.
I want to tell you about a saying.
It's not normal at all. Because you are projecting yourselves of people who want to take leadership of the country. And you're telling me this bickering that is continuous is normal. No, it's not normal.
Here's what I mean by it being normal. She's from Western Uganda, I believe. I think so are you. You good people have a good saying. I'll say it in Runyankore, then translate it. Abatuurine, tibabula kuyomba. that when you live together, even with your wife, Patrick Kamara, I'm sure you fight every so often. You don't agree on everything. And you know why that is the case? It's because both of you are two people with a brain that works, you're both intelligent, and then every once in a while there'll be a collision, a friction of ideas or whatever the case might be. So, and that's okay. But when that happens, you don't throw her out of the house, or she died throw you out of the house. You find ways of dealing with it.
Let me tell
so
you.
What I mean by normal is that it will happen.
Let me tell you, Joel, because during the Arua election, People Power leader, the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi, led a group of people, his supporters, that went and almost confronted the group that was being addressed by Dr. Kizza Besigye. If it was not for the restraint of Colonel Besigye, that could have turned so ugly. So when we have so many things coming together, it ceases to be normal. It ceases to be the usual thing. So it looks like an orchestrated move that is trying to frustrate the other group.
Okay, so what happened in Arua? Of course, Honorable Kyagulanyi and his convoy and the crowds were passing. And you see the way politics happens, you're at a rally, so you keep beckoning everybody that you see in the streets and so on. And so here was Dr. Kizza Besigye with the rally. Just hold on, let me explain to you. And so Honorable Kyagulanyi is passing with his convoy and with his people, and he beckons and they follow. But of course, eventually we talked about this, and we realized it was not a good thing to do to a comrade in the struggle. Of course, in the heat of the excitement and so on, it can
now
happen.
You're telling, this is what you should be saying. It's not a good thing to do in Houma. It's not a good thing to do in Arua. It's not a normal thing to do in Kampala. Let me give you another example, Joel, because Dr. Besigye went to CBS for a radio program. When he got out, he was accosted. It's not normal bickering. So we have seen these things grow. They have reached a certain level where they're going to swallow you.
All right, so I'll tell you. And again, I'll use the example. If you are in your house and, you will bicker with your wife, the normalcy about it is because you're both human beings. So friction does happen. But you see, when it happens, that doesn't mean it's a good thing.
Let me tell you.
But it happens.
Gender-based violence. If the women are listening to you,
so just listen.
People are dying in gender-based violence. So the bickering has even resulted in the death of people in a home.
Yeah,
so
of course.
Don't even use that as an example.
But you see,
when people die in gender-based violence.
Okay, ask a question, then let me answer.
What I'm trying to tell you that it's not normal. It's not a usual thing.
Okay,
it's not ideas.
Let me tell you
so you need to find a way how you can stop it and have cohesion, and then maybe you can realize your dreams.
All right, and what I'm telling you now is that the normalcy about it is because human beings operate differently, think differently, and sometimes in a heated moment you can get charged up, and that's the normalcy about it. Does that mean it's a good thing? No, it's not, and you find ways of dealing with it. I was telling you about Arua before you rudely interrupted me. So with the Arua incident, he beckoned, and some followers of Dr. Kizza Besigye began to follow him. Now, politically, that's okay. But morally, and especially when you're dealing with comrades, it's not a nice thing. And so we talked about it with Honorable Kyagulanyi, and we agreed it was not a good thing to do to a comrade in the struggle. By the way, there was no, you call it a confrontation. No, there was no such thing. He passed, and he did this, and some followers followed him. Politically, it could be okay, but morally and so on, it's not a good thing, especially to a comrade. And so after agreeing on that, we agreed that he'll reach out to Dr. Kizza Besigye and apologize to a comrade in the struggle, and that is something that he did. It was not a good thing. So, like I said at the start, you drop the ball, you pick it up. It's normal that there will be some friction every so often,
all right.
But you pick it up.
Now I understand.
I'll just have a say about one last thing that you said, Patrick. The CBS incident. The Dr. Kizza Besigye was leaving studio and some young fellows accosted him. You see, Patrick, you can wake up today and wear this beret and you go and do whatever it is that you do, and then people will say people power. And that's why, if you have been very attentive at every rally, we keep telling people, look, we are not violent. Honorable Kyagulanyi and myself have said not once, not twice, numerous times that, look, if you want to be violent, if you want to beat up people, first remove this symbol of ours. Respect it, put it down, such that you do whatever you want to do as you, as opposed to as people power, yeah? So that happened. It was a very unfortunate incident because young people put on berets and went and accosted him. It was wrong. And we reached out to Dr. Kizza Besigye and apologized. You know why we apologize? It's because those fellows used our symbol and we're thinking, we don't know who those young men are. What they did is wrong, especially because they used our symbol. That's why we reached out and said, we apologize because our symbol was used. You can't have control, obviously, over every part of the country and who is wearing your symbol and misusing it.
Yeah, but
when it happens...
But you need to have control, don't you?
And the control is, you need to keep telling people, look, we are not a violent people. If you want to do, wherever you are, if you're deep in Bupadengo, somebody will wear a beret and do something goofy. I might not be there. But you see, we need to keep pushing the message that, look, let's be peaceful, let's be orderly. But when something like the CBS entity happens, even though we don't know the fellows and so on, the mature civilized thing to do is when somebody is using your symbol, it looks like it is you. And that's why we reached out to Dr. Kizza Besigye and apologized. Why? Because our symbol was used by people that we don't know, and that can happen. And he was totally understanding, because he also shared experiences of people that, you know, did wrong things in his name in the past and all of that. But so you keep dropping the ball and you pick it up. That's important. That's maturity. That's civility. That's the way our politics should be.
Ingrid, on 29th of September, just days after Houma by-election,
Yes.
you posted on your Facebook page, and I quote, "If insults, abuses, vulgar language have become a new political strategy to bring about change in Uganda, then I confess to have wasted all the years I spent in the struggle. If attacking and beating FDC leaders can remove Museveni from power, then we will be in a state house soonest. Good night, Bachali Bange."
Okay, thank you so
Really,
much.
this is a voice of a frustrated woman with a fellow strugglist.
It was a condemnation. I condemn whatever is happening, whatever happened in Houma, the bad scenes that you are talking about, the ones in Arua, the ones in Bulange, because I believe if you want my support, you should approach me. You cannot beat me to support you. You cannot harass me to support you. You should not insult me to support you. When you insult me, you attack me, you abuse me, then you are chasing me away. So that post, that statement was a condemnation. I condemn everything. But going direct where we are starting from, about party cohesion, the problems that we have in parties today, to me, I think all this is work of the dictator. You know how the dictator works. There are some people who have come up, they call themselves people power. But in actual sense, we have been seeing them around. They are political hawkers. They are political nomads. They are pastorists. They move from press to
Joel was
press.
the other day in FDC and now he's in people power.
Yes,
Is that the nomadism you're talking about? Is that the nomadism you're talking about?
Yes, they are hawkers, they are roadside politicians, but the gist of it is that they are working for the dictator. So they go there and put on red. They masquerade as people power, when actually they are becoming a danger to the struggle. That's my view. I don't know how the leaders of people power see it, but for me, that's my view. And we must condemn it. Joel says that they are apologizing. For how long are you going to apologize? And apologizing to my leader doesn't work for me, because an attack on my leader is an attack on me and an attack on everyone. When you attack my leader, you have attacked everyone. So these apologies should also come in public. When you attack him in public, you should now apologize in public, so that we can also feel that we have received the apologies and maybe we can forgive you. So it's very bad. I condemn it. I hope it's going to stop. First of all, in Houma, I want to congratulate my party, because our leaders, I wasn't in Houma when the nominations started. I was in prison in Ruzira. After prison, I had a meeting of the Democratic Union of Africa. I'm a member of the executive, so I traveled to Morocco for that executive meeting. I did not go to Houma, but I want to thank, first of all, my party for nominating a candidate. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having a platform where to fight from. My party nominated a candidate, and other forces came to support her, which is good. We appreciate the efforts and the support they gave us. I want to greatly thank the teams that were in Houma. I want to thank Honorable Rwandi Kajinda, who led the FDC team, Honorable Mwiru, Honorable William Nzou. I want to thank Honorable Kabaziguruka, Honorable Mwijuche, Road Mayor Elias Rukwago, who campaigned, Dr. Besigye, Dr. Engineer Amriat Oboy, and all the leaders who campaigned and those who protected the vote. We are very grateful. They did a fantastic job. There were many, many challenges, but you know, when you're on the road, someone is driving, you are also driving. The other person puts on flashes the full rights and you also flash the full rights, you can collide and you can die on the road. But when someone puts on the flashes the full rights and you put on dim, you can drive where and reach where you are going. That is what happened in Houma. Our leaders, FDC leaders in Houma, FDC leaders from the national, our supporters, our activists decided to restrain themselves, and whatever happened for us, and I do believe that it is the work of a dictator who doesn't want us to work together, who doesn't want us to unite. You can see whatever is happening on Facebook. Those people even hide their identities.
Yeah, but when it comes to you, Ingrid, you didn't hide your identity and you're not hiding it now. You actually said you confessed that you have wasted all the years you have spent in the struggle because of what happened in Houma.
I'm condemning the fights, the blackmail that is going on must stop. Wherever it is coming from, the leaders must now take responsibility and make sure that they stop it. But as I said, and I can still repeat, you can see some politicians moving and you think they are moving, when actually they are in the roundabout. They are going nowhere, but they are moving because they want to cause trouble. Currently a well-facilitated and well-infiltrated, well-facilitated, well-structured propaganda machinery against our struggle. They attack our leaders. They say anything. They don't think through what they are saying, how it is going to affect the struggle. So they are even facilitated. They sit on TVs, they sit on radios, and they just talk nonsense. Especially it's against Dr. Besigye. If you see someone saying that Dr. Besigye has overstayed, therefore he should leave. He should leave what? He has overstayed where? They don't want him to fight. They want him to get to set aside so that some...
Who are they?
I'm talking about the propaganda of the state, of the dictator. So they are everywhere. You have seen them on Facebook, on TVs,
so you're actually saying that the people you're fighting against politically have infiltrated even the opposition, have infiltrated the people power to send these messages?
Yes, and they are doing that. They are facilitated to do that. So we must be careful. And we must make sure that we save our membership. These people must behave. So,
okay, Joel, I'm listening to Ingrid. It appears the idea they get is that your people power movement has also been infiltrated by the Kawukumi, and the Kawukumi is fighting, eating you within. So how do you respond to that?
Well, the infiltration is everywhere.
We're talking about people power now.
Yeah, and I'm responding to you the way I find it ideal, and I'm saying the infiltration is everywhere. It should not be surprising to you that a wave that has come and it is shaking like people power will not be infiltrated. Are you kidding me? Of course it will. You know, there are people who will attempt to, when they realize that now this one probably has become a force to reckon with, how do we mess it up? How do we pit it against everyone else? How do we use it to try and cause some trouble? Yeah? Why? Because it's massive, it's powerful. Otherwise, no one will want to use it anyhow. Yeah? The infiltration is, it gets to happen everywhere. Our good friends in the FDC have, you know, every so often talked about malls and so on. And it's not surprising. And I've had doctors say I mean, that's the way politics gets to happen. It would be surprising if, for example, President Museveni will not probably plant some people in the FDC, some people in People Power, some people in DP. It gets to happen. But you see, as all of that happens, you know, we should not miss the forest for the trees. We should not lose focus. That's important. There's one of those engagements that we had with Dr. Kizza Besigye, a very wise man that I respect, you know. And on one of those discussions, we all seemed to agree that we should not miss the forest for the trees. That if you have gone hunting and you have gone to hunt an antelope, a little squirrel that will dash should not mix you up and then you lose focus of the antelope, because the antelope will flee because you've been distracted by a squirrel. So that gets to happen.
So between Dr. Besigye and Honorable Chagulanyi, who is a squirrel?
Who is a squirrel? None of them is, as far as I'm concerned. What I meant is there will be the distractions, the infiltrations that she is talking about. But a couple of things that my dear big sister has raised. She talked about political hawkers, and she said the state machinery is using people. Of course, my sister, my big sister, it obviously gets to happen that the state will plant people. And I'm glad you actually are of that realization. And as the opposition, we need to wake up to the fact that as people power, FDC is not our enemy. FDC needs to wake up to the realization that people power is not its enemy, DP and all of that. And so we should not point guns at each other, political guns that is. We should point political guns at the NRM because that's our quote unquote, and I need to use this very carefully, political adversary, if you like. Yeah. So when the state does get to plant people, maybe some here, some the other side, pit yourselves against each other such that everyone thinks so the FDC is fighting people power and all of that. It's problematic. It should not be surprising. We need to find ways of dealing with it. But importantly, at the helm. And that's why we are glad that our leaders meet every so often and they talk. And that should be a signal. And I'm glad that she realizes that the state is behind these machinations, the hawking, and so on. And then people need to realize that out there. Because the state will do it. Anybody in government who realizes, so the opposition is beginning to unite, they're beginning to do things together, these people might sweep me. They will definitely plant people to try and disorganize you. So we need to realize, as far as we are concerned as people power, FDC is obviously not our enemy because we...
But your leader, Mr. Ssenyonyi, has already declared that he wants to be on the ballot, right?
Yeah, what's wrong with that?
So of course, if FDC or any other party also comes up with another person whom they want to be a flag bearer, then that brings political rivalry. He becomes your adversary.
Yes and no.
Why?
No, and a very big no, because the seat we are targeting is not that of Dr. Kizza Besigye. He has told you every so often, I don't occupy a seat, you know. And that's true. So whoever might want to scramble for his seat, he has said this himself, that look, I don't occupy any seat. So, you know, so the seat that we are looking for is that occupied by President Museveni. So our political guns are pointed at him. Allow me in 2 minutes.
But there's going to be a time. There's going to be a time. Whereas the Honorable Robert Kyagulanyi has gone ahead to declare his intentions for running for presidency 2021. The others seem not yet to have done that decision.
But
so
and
if
that's
it's happening,
FDC is an institution.
Yes.
Honorable Kyagulanyi is an individual. He's independent. For us as FDC, there is no way anyone can just start imagining and declaring himself a candidate. There is no way.
You can aspire. You can be an aspirant and not a candidate.
You can aspire to be a flag bearer.
Yes.
But you cannot declare yourself to be a candidate in the presidential elections. There is a process that we follow. But in Houma, for me, the challenge I saw in Houma and what brought problems in Houma, there was a joint opposition force which was not structured at all. There was no...
What do you mean not structured? What did you want to happen?
Like when we are going... FDC nominated a candidate. There was no any other party or another group that nominated a candidate. So there were no negotiations and processes to agree on that candidate as a joint candidate. So she was an FDC candidate. There was no process to qualify her into a joint opposition candidate.
Why didn't you have that effort?
No, it wasn't there. That was a challenge. That was a mistake which can be solved at a later stage when we are going to an election.
Ingrid, you are the national mobilizer of FDC. Yes. You have a lot of
clout
to be able to advise your fellow people in the forces of change to agree on that individual who can carry the flag of the opposition. So that is right in your docket, madam.
Yes. I understand it. It is in my docket, and I said there was a mistake. There was no process to qualify her as a joint opposition candidate. Now, if we are a joint force, DP has interests, FDC has interests, People Power has interests. There was anti, they have interests, they have a flag bearer, FDC will get a flag bearer, everyone will get a flag bearer. So when we go to campaign for a member of parliament, now how do we bring presidential candidates, posters, among people who also have interests for the same city? I don't know
So
whether
who-
you are.
yeah.
I don't know whether you are understanding the challenge
Okay.
that was in that campaign. So there is a presidential candidate who is distributing his
Okay.
posters.
There's an aspirant.
Yes.
We yet to get candidates. There's
Who
somebody
has already
who's
declared.
aspired, yeah.
But now-
But you are not yet a candidate anymore.
Yes, now these other presidential candidates who are also sitting there with you, it's like they have
But
come
you said
now.
you've not chosen yet,
Eh,
so
No, I said FDC is an institution that will have a presidential candidate anyway.
oh, but it
isn't
doesn't have yet.
Well, presidential
There is a
aspirants, we are now...
process. There is a process. For us,
call them...
we don't
they are
have
these
individual-
are aspirants at this
Yes.
level. You are a candidate after going through
Yes, so
a certain process
we are,
of the Electoral
I
Commission.
think we are analyzing Houma.
Yeah, yes.
And we are, for me, I'm looking at the challenges that were there. If this candidate is a joint opposition candidate, how do we reach at that candidate as a joint opposition candidate? And how do we proceed to campaign for her? Because we have always campaigned for other parties. We have been in Ruero campaigning for Honorable Nabu Kenya Brenda. We were going in green because she was a DP candidate, you see. We were campaigning for Namboze. We went in green with our whole.
We went to Bugiri.
We were, no, in Bugiri we had a
You
candidate.
had a candidate.
We were in Rukunjiri campaigning for an FDC candidate. All these people came and joined us there. So when we go to Houma, and now we find a presidential candidate is distributing posters, yet we are campaigning for a member of parliament. That was a mistake.
Well, let me
Which
hold on
must
to your
be
point there.
solved.
Hold on to your point. Mr. Joel Ssenyonyi, from people
Yes.
power point of view, does Honorable Robert Chagulanyi, is he having now posters? Or is she making it up?
Well, it is consultation time, and people get to go out there. The posters are there. So, as people power, we have got a presidential candidate, aspirant rather, somebody that we feel this one will represent us. And so, wherever we go, we expose him. My big sister has said that as the FDC, they have processes, so they've not gone through the process. I guess that's why they don't have somebody that they're exposing as a presidential
Is
aspirant.
it even
I'm
right
sure they
at
will
this
get
moment
there.
to be moving with the posters of candidates in 2019 before the general election? Really
What's
come?
what's
I'm
devilish
asking.
about
They
it?
have been- they
There's
have
nothing
been-
wrong about
They
it.
are risking disqualification.
Well,
Yes.
the law does not stop you from going out there and interacting with people and telling them your intentions. That should be okay. President Museveni has been doing it. The only difference is that he does it with our money, because the other day, about 2 months ago, Parliament passed 32 billion shillings.
So
it was for him to
so
move across the
you're
country.
okay with
But
President
allow me
Museveni
to talk.
campaigning before time?
It's okay actually for him to go out there and tell
And
people
campaign for
that
before time.
I am coming again. I don't find a problem with that. Where I find a problem is when he uses state resources, because that's what he's doing. Parliament passed about 32 billion shillings for him to move across the country. Of course, the red herring was that it is Operation Wealth Creation. Oh, give us a break. It is campaign. So go out there, tell people you want to come.
So-
But let's talk a bit about Houma. So the aspirant for the Houma woman MP, Nyakatu Asinas, approached us. And she said, guys, I would like you to come and support me in Hoima. I'm an FDC candidate, but if you can, kindly come and support me. So we thought about it, said, all right, we'll discuss with the team and see how to go about it. Initially, we were honestly quite engaged in several other things that were happening as we also, building the movement, structuring and all of that. So we said, all right, let's see about it. So we consulted, and then she contacted us again and said, guys, so will you be coming to support me? Yes, I'm FDC, but I know that your people power that you guys are pushing through is not a political party. I've heard you say it is a movement that embraces every change-seeking Ugandan, regardless of where they belong. And that's why we have among us some NRM people who are interested in change, some FDC people who want change, some DP, ANT, and so on, who are saying, look, we want change. And so she said, I belong to that category. I belong to the FDC as a political party, but you guys are saying this is a platform for every Ugandan that wants change. I want change. So if you can, kindly come and support me. So we discussed again as team, and we thought, why not? Let's go and support our sister. She's interested in
Was
change.
it the most prudent thing
And,
to do, Mr. Ssenyonyi, was to go maybe reach Ingrid Turinawe, who's the national mobilizer of FDC, because that's an institution, so that even though you have heard from the candidate, you also need to go and talk to the institution, and there are people who speak for it, so that whatever you're going to do is sanctioned by them at least, or they know your intention officially from their office.
We actually met them several times, and as we discussed several things, we discussed this too, and told them that Nyakato has come out, reached out to us, and she has requested for our support. And they said, fine, after all, we all are interested in change. And so we hit Houma to support Nyakato. Of course, every entity has a different bit labeling and paraphernalia and then all of that. So Nyakato embraces People Power. She belongs to the FDC as a political party, but People Power is not a political party. It's a platform, it's a movement for every Ugandan that is interested in change. She embraces it, whereas our paraphernalia, as you can see. And then so we hit the ground running and we go there. As People Power, like I told you, we have a presidential aspirant. Our good colleagues in the FDC have said that they don't have one yet. They'll go through a procedure to have one. We have ours, so wherever we go, we expose him. And so this was another opportunity to expose him, that whenever we go there, we expose our candidate. We campaigned for Nyakato Asinas, who reached out to us to help her campaign, but we also have our presidential aspirant. We expose him.
So
there's no harm in
what
that.
I see here is really an issue of give and take, because if Nyakato wants support from People Power, really, she should also accept that the People Power, they have their leader, who also have their intentions. So just give your support, but also you can also get something from them.
That was very okay.
Yeah, but this is what he's explaining. So it shouldn't cause any worry.
Nyakato approaching you and seeking for support, and you also came in and gave her support. That was fine. But the challenge, as I mentioned before, is how did she leave the flag of FDC to become a flag bearer of the joint opposition candidate. So there needed to be a procedure, and it must happen next time, so that we avoid the challenges we got in Houma. Like Honorable Silanda, the Secretary General of DP, he was also beaten at that rally with the mobilizer of DP. So these are...
Beaten by who?
By some people who were putting on red, who came from NRM and masqueraded as People Power. For me, that's what I believe, because they were also beaten.
People Power has people have come from all over.
Yeah.
Including on this desk. My producer here used to be on this desk.
Yes, but screening,
so everybody can come.
Screening must be done.
Everybody can wake up the
But I hope you're listening to her attentively, because she's saying people masquerading as People Power.
Yes.
You know, so there's the point. So somebody can masquerade and wear this.
Yes.
And I'm glad she's using the correct English there, that they're masquerading, because that's what they are. And we need to appreciate that.
Yeah, those things that were there, we would have maybe said the principals must have the seats, then the security must be manned by so and so, so that everyone can feel comfortable.
That is what you should have actually posted on your Facebook page on the 29th of September. Say, well, people who have infiltrated our opposition groups and hurling insults and abuses and vulgar language, who have become a nuisance, you should have condemned them with a lot of clarity.
Have you seen them? Or I'm the one who is seeing them?
I'm talking about, I'm just quoting.
Have you seen those people using vulgar language, insulting and beating people? Have you seen them on your screens? I think you have seen them. So we must condemn it.
Yeah, I'm not saying you shouldn't. If anything's wrong, you should condemn it.
And
but I'm talking about you as a mobilizer of national mobilizer of FDC. Your language or your posting should have come with a lot of clarity, so that we get to know whom you're talking about and where they are from. Like now you have said these are masqueraders who have come from NRM. You should have put it there, because now for the last 3-4 days everybody is saying, look, these guys, their house is on fire. But we're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Get out of that emergency with Platinum Credit. Using only your payslip or your car logbook, contact us on 0200 300 500 or dial *249#. You can also visit us on 4th floor Prime Plaza or any of our dedicated branches countrywide.
Pilsner Lager, the King's Beer, presents Uganda's roots reggae star Maddox Semanda Sematimba. Live in concert on the 4th October 2019 at Sheraton Gardens, Kampala. Entrance is 30,000 shillings, VIP 50,000 shillings, and 1 million for a table. 6th October, Freedom City at 20,000 shillings. 12th October, Trans Africa Ginger at 10,000 shillings. For reservations, call 0773 271 720. Maddox the Legend live in concert is sponsored by Sheraton Kampala Hotel, Sprout Africa, Silk Events, Ships, Capital FM, Pilsner Lager. Hear the lion roar.
Alcohol is not for sale to persons under the age of 18. Please drink responsibly.
And
NTV, turning on your world. When it comes to power and electrical appliances, we recommend Shule cables. Shule cables are of the best quality, long-lasting, reliable, and certified by Uganda National Bureau standards. They come in different types at very good prices. Single-core cables, twin cables, flexible cables, and armored cables. With Shule cables, you're assured of safety. They're made with the best machinery and technology. Find them in all electrical distribution outlets countrywide. Shule cables, you're assured of safety.
I'm Dr. Mirembe, and this is the NMS Health Moment. Malaria remains Uganda's leading cause of death, especially in children under 5. Yet there are ways to prevent it. Use insecticide-treated bed nets for you and your family. Pregnant women should always sleep under treated mosquito nets and take anti-malaria drugs to protect both mother and child. Getting rid of stagnant water, clearing bushes from around your house, and planting lemongrass can all reduce the number of mosquitoes nearby. Prevention is better than cure. Be responsible. Live healthy.
This health tip is brought to you by National Medical Stores with support from the Ministry of Health. NMS, passionate about your life.
Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara. My guest tonight are Madam Ingrid Turinawe, who is the national mobilizer of the Forum for Democratic Change, and Joel Ssenyonyi, the spokesperson of the People Power Movement. What I have seen is that probably what is lacking is the sense of humility at the top, whereby whatever you're going to do, you do it with a sense of humility, and then that will bring you respect. But if what we're seeing is like two people acting like the alpha males, fighting for the survival of the fittest, then you will not.
I think that's problematic, Patrick. Of course, it's been fueled by several segments of our society, and I'm glad my elder sister keeps talking about the state planting people, masqueraders, because that's what they are. And you know, when you realize that, I keep using the example of a married couple. I don't know why, I'm not married yet even. You know, that when you realize that, look, the problem is not us. So if there's somebody who keeps trying to create tension between the two of you, if there's somebody who keeps spreading rumors, false ones, and all of that, you need to realize that the problem is the other person as opposed to each other, because when you fight each other, then you tear each other apart. And I'm glad my elder sister realizes that, because she keeps saying masqueraders planted by the NRM and all of that. And the opposition needs to realize that we are, excuse me, are colleagues, forces that are interested in change. And when somebody tries to create disunity and dissent, we need to realize that the problem is that person. So as opposed to fighting each other, let's deal with that problem so that it does not tear us apart, especially if we're saying we are on the same part, the same side. So look, Houma should, a lot of things should have been done better in Houma, like many other places. And it's a learning curve. You keep learning and you keep learning and you keep learning. I think the forces of change should have been a bit more united. There was a bit of that. For example, we did not guard our vote well. And by our, I mean, you know, when we were called by the candidates to support her, thought, all right, so we are part of the struggle, so you own it. And that's the way it should be. Just like we tell people, you know, own this. So the idea, just a second.
Small, Joel, because for me saying that sent by NRM or their masqueraders. That is my thinking. So I don't know exactly. You are the one who is supposed to confirm to us whether those people are yours or not.
Which
because
ones?
the ones who attack and beat, and because some of them we see them so close with you and as if they are very well and very much trusted by your high ranks. So if I can ask a question, do you have a mechanism of disciplining and controlling your people? Do you have any at all?
All right, so let me ask that question. We do, because we know we're dealing with human beings who can become errant every so often. We would want to know about the beatings and so on, so who beat who, because that's a heavy-sounding allegation.
To say, these are my people, for a movement like yours. Because for them, they can verify, you have a card, you have whatever. Yeah. How about you?
And that's what I've been saying, because so somebody will wake up and put on this red beret. And that's why on our part, we keep saying, let's be responsible on our end. So keep encouraging our supporters, because they come from everywhere. They come from the NRM, from the FDC, from DP, from all over. They're saying they're interested in change, and we avail the platform for them to do that. Yeah? So along the way, there will be errant ones that will come, some sent by the state and all of that. Our job, because we will not have control over everybody, will not know everybody, like I said about the young men that went and accosted Dr. Kiza Besigye. But who are these? They're wearing our red berets. And then, well, I'm not like supposed to know everybody. But so when you see that, you know that somebody is trying to sow discord. When they realize, so these guys are trying to perhaps, you know, work together. Let's see how we soil that. And what do you do? Because if you can't get to these people, you probably don't know them. And that's how you reach out to Dr. Kiza Besigye. My elder sister was asking, for how long will you apologize? Well, if Ingrid, tomorrow you get accosted by somebody wearing a red beret, and I don't know the person and all of that, I will obviously reach out to you and apologize. You know why? It is the sensible thing to do, because that person was using our symbol. So I don't know the person. I obviously didn't send them. And it's good you call them the masqueraders that will come to sow seeds of discord. So when that happens, you go higher and say, look, I don't want to make an excuse, especially because somebody got this, because they're all over the country, to parts of this country, and you find berets in deep places. So somebody will wear it and do something wrong, perhaps try and make us look bad, because the regime will be intent on making sure that happens. So when I see that happen, as a civilized leader, the right thing to do, I will not stop to apologize, because you're saying, for how long will you apologize? So when such a thing happens, I don't know who the person is, but they're wearing our red beret. I think it's the mature thing to do, to say, you know what, sorry for what happened, but then you need to realize that there are people who are intent on sowing discord. So then you realize the problem is not us, let's deal with that problem.
This is what I'm beginning to sense, that perhaps the coming on stage of the people power movement is the best thing that has happened to the NRM. Because you are accosting the NRM and you're harassing them and whatever, but now you find yourself, you're spread thin on the ground. If anything, they are coming on board. It's the best thing that has happened to the NRM.
No, that's not true. They would not be panicking like they are panicking all over the place.
Well,
they feel
but
the
now,
pressure,
but
they
now
feel
the guns seem
like
to be turned against yourselves now. I'm sure.
No, like I told you.
There is no Kazito that can come with
I'm sure Justin Kasule Lumumba is having a laugh. Like, look at them.
There is no Kazito that can come with disrespect and disorganization and disorder. But we have been in this struggle for all this year. If we had operated the way we see people power operating, we wouldn't be living by today. I don't know whether you understand what.
That's a vote of no confidence in people.
So what do you mean by operating? Which operating way are you talking about?
That's a vote of no confidence in the people power movement.
No, when he tells me that they don't know these people, they don't know where they are coming from. Yes, because you must put a mechanism of knowing your people, especially the ones that come closer to you. I will know that when I go to Yumbe and I meet someone there, I will know that I have a chairman in Yumbe who will tell me this is the right person to deal with or not. Otherwise, you will find yourselves in danger, including your own life or your own lives. So that is the danger I see when you say that you don't know the people and there is no mechanism of knowing them. Then they are attacking the other leaders, they are disrespecting their leaders, and they are disrespecting other leaders. We don't know the reason why they have come to join you. You cannot have a mechanism of sieving and maybe passing them to do certain activities. That is the problem.
Okay.
at
Joel,
the
I
moment.
can imagine, Joel, you don't want the idea of keeping, apologizing because someone has you don't want that, I'm sure.
No,
Then you'll have to find a medicine for it as people power.
No, so the medicines are very simple. And for starters, the apologizing will not stop. Look, the way I was brought up, when you make a mistake or as a leader, you learn to take responsibility even when you have not necessarily done that, yeah? And it's important. That's why many African leaders, for example, they will not, resign when they've goofed up. They will not apologize. They will try and feel like I was entitled to doing that. We don't want to be that way. And so when something errant happens, especially by somebody who will try and be pointed to us because of something like this, I think it's important you come out and say this is wrong. So one of the medicines, and look, the genesis perhaps of this, you see there's a light up here. So if this room is very dark and then there is a light, many things will come to that light. Everything will probably want to come to that light. The nice, beautiful butterflies will come. The ugly moths will come. Nice insects will come. The ugly, creepy ones will come. Everything will come.
And the mosquitoes will come.
That kind of thing. So for a movement like people power, and then this is me being humble. And
So you
saying,
have eliminated,
just
you
listen.
have eliminated yourself, or things are coming to you.
Well, let me make the point. Yeah. So for a movement like People Power, which has said that, look, we are embracing every Ugandan that is interested in change, in positive change. So you're going to have many people embracing you and chanting People Power. Some will be good, some will not be, some will not have good intentions, some will be sent on bad intentions, and that's for sure. Are you going to have control over all of them? It might not be possible.
But that's what is expected of you.
But there's things that you can do. And one of the things that we have always said, and I will say it again, that as People Power, we are law-abiding people, we are non-violent people. If anybody out there, you want to engage in violence, you want to engage in law-breaking, please do not identify with us. And Honorable Chagulanya said this almost at whichever rallies we go to, and myself, wherever I am, that look, if for example, you want to go on social media and abuse people vehemently, please first put off this beret, put it down, insult, and I'm not saying insulting is good, but what I mean is that do it at your own behest, all right? Do not use this to insult people. Do not give us a bad name. And that's important, and we need to keep making that clarion call.
Yes,
such that my elder sister Ingrid, when she gets accosted tomorrow by somebody, one, we have mitigated it from our end, but also it's good that they keep sharing. So tomorrow,
okay,
if Ingrid you get accosted,
do you get a sense that
let us know.
You have built, you have been building a brand, and your brand is getting, household, it's getting recognized, all over Uganda and beyond. But when somebody does something in the name of People Power, you come and apologize. He does it again. You come and apologize. Those mistakes that you're calling mistakes, if it is 1 and 2, and we say okay, but if they go to 5, 6, and 7, it becomes a norm of your brand, and that damages your brand.
Yeah, but you see, you're
And
talking
now
about the person doing it again and again, and you're talking about different people. Excuse me. I don't know if the people who accosted Dr. Kiza Besigye are the ones that accosted people in Arua or in Houma or that kind of thing. There'll be different people that will try and jump onto this light, expectedly. Some beautiful butterflies, some ugly moths. Our responsibility as leaders is to keep saying, guys, this is the direction that we should take. If you don't want to take that direction, please jump off this track.
Okay. All right. Ingrid, you just said something very explosive, that if FDC behaved just like you have seen now, that perhaps you wouldn't have lived longer.
Yes,
I want you to elaborate
because
more.
The dictator looks at any opportunity where he can grab you, where he can get you, where he can finish you. That is it. And we have survived many for all this time. They can even bring a maid in your house. And she comes in red, she comes singing People Power, and you think this one is mine. At the end of the day, you are dead. So we have been carefully dealing with people. We have been so conscious. We have been careful with our lives. Yes, we interact with many people, we mobilize and we recruit new people, but we have to be conscious and very careful.
And I agree. Yes. I agree. And whenever you identify those, because our good colleagues in the FDC, every so often you keep hearing them, there is a mole, this mole, the other mole, Why? Because that will happen, but what you keep doing is you identify. I mean, even within our ranks, so there's people that we have gotten information about. And you know, there's powerful people in government that give us information. A fellow will call you on a secure line or that kind of thing and say, my son, I'm so and so, I've not called you. And all of that, but here is information. Is this person, is the other person, and all of that. So you identify and know, so this one is the wrong character. You distance yourself from them. Those are the moles that you kept saying, you know, that are even within your party. And so that's normal, it will happen. We would be naive to imagine that people power, the force to reckon with, and I say that with humility, that it has become, that the state will not try to infiltrate us, that they will not try to pit us against our colleagues in the struggle, the FDC. They'll obviously do that. You know, I hate to say this, and of course that's bad politics, but anybody on the other end will try and make sure that there be a rift. So understandably it will happen, yeah? But you keep identifying those, like, you know, you probably tried, but every so often I hear people within the party say there are still some moles, and for me that's normal in a sense. So when you think, so but because again also the other thing, this word is misused. So if somebody does not like Joe, they will say he is a mole.
A mole is
but there can be legitimate people that have been legitimately sent to cause discord. So when you realize those, then you isolate them.
A mole is not identified by just a mere word or a description.
Of course.
A mole is described by actions, and it doesn't take long. Even if you call me, like now there is a propaganda machinery that these people are using. The moment you open Facebook, you find someone with a red beret and he's saying that Dr. Besigye works for Mr. Museveni. But the actions cannot quantify that. What Dr. Besigye goes through is not just a mere word that you can use to call him a mod.
And so, Ingrid, you cannot realize that
he becomes a mod.
That the state would actually be probably doing that, will get people, use them, wear the red berets, attack Dr. Kiza Besigye, abuse him to create the rift.
It's possible. Now it's up to you.
That's the common sense approach. So what you keep doing as a leader, because a lot have control over the fellows that have been sent by President Museveni and his team. They are his people. Berets are all over the place. Somebody just goes and purchases and all of that, yeah? So I will not have control over that. The control that you have is, look, you keep letting the message out there that this is how for us we ought to operate. And the message that you put to our colleagues on the other end is that, look, everybody will keep trying to tear us apart. And it's not like we are one, but we are colleagues in the struggle. We are saying we are all interested in change. We need to find ways of dealing with these things, because you see, the fighting between us is unnecessary. And I don't know that you called us here to fight. You're going to get disappointed, at least from my end. You know, I've not come to fight. These are our colleagues in the struggle, and we want to keep emphasizing that.
Well, I don't know what you call this, but I'm hearing a lot. I'm hearing him saying, if he behaved like you, wouldn't have survived.
And that's okay, and I'm not going to
and so he's telling you, please, shape up.
And the point here is...
And that's what you have come to hear, perhaps.
And it's good
from
to hear
your
that.
elder sister.
It's good to get that feedback and all of
right,
that.
okay.
So if you are expecting that I'm going to respond and say, but you also, you know, and all of that, because, again, there are a number of people that are identified as FDC that will attack and all of that. But I'll not come here and say this person on social media, because it does not help the situation at all.
This is not even the intention of On the Spot.
Well,
but the intention of the sport is give you a platform.
Because I'm reading the topic you have on the screen. Inside the FDC and people-power relationship,
you must also know that there is a process that is going on between people power and people's government.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ingrid and Joel, we're going to take a break, and when we come back to do the last segment, I'll be opening the lines so that you two can be a part of this discussion, but also I'll be trying to shift gears and look into, we've been talking about the symbol of the people power. That symbol now is the spotlight is on it, because the army has come out to say, hey, if you put it on, you're an outlaw. What is their response? We'll be right back.
The Ministry of Health has planned a national measles, rubella, and polio immunization campaign for all children under 15 years of age on 16th to 20th October 2019, starting 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. This message is brought to you by the Ministry of Health with support from World Health Organization and UNICEF.
When it comes to power and electrical appliances, we recommend Shule cables. Shule cables are of the best quality, long-lasting, reliable, and certified by Uganda National Bureau standards. They come in different types at very good prices. Single-core cables, twin cables, flexible cables, and armored cables. With Shule cables, you're assured of safety. They're made with the best machinery and technology. Find them in all electrical distribution outlets countrywide. Shule cables, you're assured of safety.
Nabubi yazimba kumutya muwanvu
enkuba yatonya nabubi yakwa
A beautiful land stained by the blood of its own, many lost in the ravages of civil strife.
Some of us had to leave land and intellectual for committing no crime.
Uganda's story of hope and courage in the face of such great odds lives on in its senior citizens.
Yoweri Kaguta Museveni offered to go and look for Benais.
It's not what we knew. Retirement doesn't reflect itself to be an honorable thing.
Today, they recall with nostalgia the good times of the swinging 60s.
The Queen should release the powers to us.
With regret, our harrowing past and wonder about tomorrow.
I want a special ministry just to guide the nation as to where we want to go.
Only on NTV's Living History will the past of the Pearl of Africa come alive. Every Saturday with Agnes Nandutu.
Bagoba b'ebidduka oba bavuzi bannange tufube okweyambisa emisipi gino gye bakolera mu motoka kuba gituyamba obutakoona mitwe gyaffe mu steering oba dashboard oba abasaabaze betutwala mu motoka obuteekoona mu kabiseera ak'akabenje. Emisipi gino gitukwata emmotoka ne zitukasuka bweru bwe ziba zeefuula. Ate oba oli awo tulina okufuba okulanga emisipi gino giri mu mbeera.
Welcome back. You're watching On the Spot. My name is Patrick Kamara, and my guests tonight are Mr. Joel Ssenyonyi, who is the spokesperson of the People Power Movement, and Ingrid Turinawe, the national mobilizer for the Forum for Democratic Change. Now, you kept on telling us about your symbol, which is the red beret. And recently, the army has come out to say it is a preserve of the military. We have the command, I think, of the reserve force, Afande Otema, and this is what he said.
Anybody found in your area with a red top or where it's hidden, report to the police because he's wearing a wrong cap which does not belong to him, belongs to UPDF.
That's Otema there, a military officer, command of the reserve force, is actually saying that anybody, including me and Ingrid, that if we see a Joel, we report you to police. Well, I mean, okay, it's not a good joke in a way. But what do you make of this, Joel?
You see, when you see generals beginning to panic and shiver, then you get to really know what people power is. They're obviously in fear, beginning with their top boss, General Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and several others. They are in fear because people power has continuously given them sleepless nights. I honestly don't blame them. I would panic as well if I were in their shoes. So they keep panicking and pressing buttons, panic buttons. What do we do with these guys? How do we cut their speed? How do we slow them down? And then all of that. And I don't know what advises them, because whenever they try to slow us down, they actually just push us further. You know, whenever they try and slow us down, they just propel us a lot more. Look, when I read in the papers, because they said UPDF Gazette's new uniform, I thought, oh wow, so the UPDF army was formed last week. I thought they've been around all this while. For starters, we as people power don't have any problem with the UPDF per se. We have so many friends and colleagues, you know, by colleagues I mean people who are interested in change within the UPDF. Some very high ranking, by the way. They tip us on information, they get in touch and say, know that tomorrow you're planning to go this side, don't use this route, don't use this route, and you're thinking, wow. So many of them are actually our buddies. We don't have a problem with them. The people that have a problem with us are really President Yoweri Museveni, our outgoing president, and a couple of people around him, because they are beginning to feel the pressure. And so that is why they are doing all of this. As far as we are concerned, because again, when you read the UPDF Act, and then it's good to read the law. The law is, you know, you can read and internalize it with ease. When you read the law, sections 160, 161, all through to 165 of the UPDF Act, it talks about what their paraphernalia is, and the key thing therein is the marks, the insignia. So when the UPDF, I had, you know, the spokesperson saying, look, people are going to confuse the people power beret with ours, that people will see Joel Ssenyonyi and think he is General whatever, for example. And that kind of thing. And they're saying, oh, come on, let's be serious about this. The UPDF badge and the UPDF beret is very clear. It has got the UPDF badge. The people power beret is very clear. It has got the people power badge. And that's what it is. So when the Minister for Defense, Senior Counsel, I would like to think, Adolf Wesije, you know, released that gazette and some of the things that he said, you could see. And I say this with respect. I'm just a law student. He's a lawyer, has been practicing for a very long time. But this is not law, it's politics. But because, and that's why you could see opportunistic enthusiasm and drafting overzealousness akin to amateurism. And I say amateurism, and that's why I said he's a lawyer. I'm just a law student.
But two things. Your senior lawyer is also an amateur. Your senior lawyer is also an amateur.
I say amateurism in what was presented, yes. But you know why? Anyway. Because it's not law. Yeah. It's politics. It's politics. It's not the law at play. As far as we are concerned, we are not breaking any law when we wear these. These are our symbols. We are not violent people. You know, President Museveni and his team, they keep trying to drag us to the game they know best, which is violence. So that's why they keep trying to label us as violent. And that's why we tell our young people, please don't fight anybody. Don't fight police, because when you do, they want you to, you know, probably hit them a slap, and then they will fire bullets at you and all of that. We are peaceful people, and that's why we want to take power peacefully. We, you know, really are not like President Museveni and his team. Okay. These gentlemen, just a second, let me wrap this up. They picked up guns, went to the bush, killed people to take power. That's what happened. I come from Nakasongola, which is in the Luwero Triangle, so I know what I'm talking about. We are different. We are saying we want to see a smooth transition of power where there is no bloodshed. And that's what we are. We are law-abiding. We don't break any law by wearing this. Many people have been wearing all manner of capes and berets. Some have been wearing these, others have been wearing topis and so on, and they put this, our badge, the people power badge. Some put it on their jackets and all of that. And we're saying, keep doing that, because this is your identity. It gives you identity with not just people power, but with the struggle for change, for transformation in this country. Keep wearing them.
Ingrid, what do you make of the stand by General Tema and his group?
For me, or for us, we are not surprised at all, because these people have banned things and they will continue banning They have banned the prayers, they have banned the hood, they banned the FOC, which was an organization, a pressure group. You wait, they are going to ban people power. That's what I can predict. They are going to ban people's government. But for us, we cannot be surprised. What matters is how we handle it. What is going to matter is how you handle your identity of the beret. The problem we have at the moment is that we have a completely powerless populace. Our people are not empowered. And that's why we are saying people must fight so that we can have the power reclaimed and handed over back to the people. As they are saying now, people power, there is no people power at the moment. People are completely powerless. If they can stand their ground and protect their symbol, and they keep, like, now I congratulate you, Joel, welcome to Defiance. This is Defiance, because they have told him not to put it on. This is the Defiance we've been telling you. So you must take it up, you stand your ground very firm, you mobilize the population to make sure that they don't drop your symbol. Because next time they can say, you remove your trouser. Will you remove it?
Okay, let us
They can even say, don't sleep in your house. So the problem we have is a powerless citizenry.
So how do you build a vibrancy in the citizens so that we can have people who cannot be pushed over?
That's what we've been working on. We've tried to sensitize Ugandans. We have done trainings. And actually, as we told you, by the way, you started by a presidential elections of 2021. We have not discussed that. For us, we have told everyone, Museveni has mastered the art of rigging elections. Whether you are powerful, whether you are in red or what, for us as FDC and People's Government, we have decided we can no longer go for another election when we are powerless. We must empower our people. We must start actions now so that by the time we reach the 2021 elections, in a case, if maybe it happens for maybe Mr. Museveni uses his small gods or his witchcraft or his blessings to reach 2021, he must reach there when he's crawling, when he cannot even rig, so that we defeat him with or without elections.
You know, there's one thing I heard from the Honorable Robert Chagulanyi when he was here, yes. And somebody called and said, they are going to rig our election. What do we do? And he said something fundamental, and in Luganda, that they can only rig because you have given them a victory that is not strong. In fact, it's in Luganda that Baba Kataweze, you know, if I've said it well, that you need to have an overwhelming...
Okay.
But I found that very important, that you need to give them a knockout so that they cannot even steal.
What we have concentrated on, Mr. Museveni should have gone in 2016 because we defeated him, hands down. Instead of our president going to State House, he went into prison. And that will happen.
Let me also, let me also add for you a clip of Brigadier General Karemera, because he also said something in regard to the Red Beret. And then after that, I'm going to open the lines. I want to hear what people are saying about these issues.
Finally, UPDF has a standard dress code, which will help us to address issues of identifying different forces under different services, formations, and units, branches.
Afande, there's this general perception in the public that maybe you're targeting a certain group of people by coming up with these regulations now.
No, the perception is wrong. We started working on this dress code as far back as 1996.
What will happen to someone who's found putting on an attire or a beret that has a resemblance with that of security forces?
What will happen if you go contrary to the law always? Of course, it's incumbent upon the law enforcement agencies to act as they deem fit, but must always be in line with established law.
General Karemera, talking with my producer, Habat Ziwa, and I'm sure you've heard. He said, what will happen if they find you? It appears that now, clearly, the UPDF is going to find itself in a collusion course with the people. And
unnecessarily so. My elder sister is right when she says that they want to ban this, then tomorrow say, now we have outlawed people power. We've gotten that information, and that's what they're working towards. And they're not going to succeed because people power is not just about the beret, it's not just about the word people power, the chanting, it's not about Honorable Chagulanyi. It's in our blood, it's in our system. You know, it's a spirit that is interested in change, that is desirous for change, and that's what this is about. And we need to keep pushing. You see, so when you give them an inch, they will take a yard, and they'll keep taking a lot more. Sometimes they will try and bend towards the law and again misuse it. You know, Kamara, apartheid was legal in South Africa, but it was bad law, and the people said, no, this is bad law. Slave trade was legal in Europe, and the people who said this is.
Let me open the lines, Joel, so that I get to know.
I
agree with you, but also let us hear some views from Ugandans who've been watching, and my producer is telling me quite a number of them would want to contribute. So I have a caller online. Hello.
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 Good evening, my brother Kamara. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. What's your name? And please go to the point, if you can.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. Go right to the point.
Okay, good evening, Kamara. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Yes, my greetings to the spokesperson of People Power.
Okay.
My
good
brother
evening, sir.
Ssenyonyi, and greetings to Commander Ingrid Turinawe. Now, I'm called Nyombe Richard Viemalo. First of all, I'm very humbled that I'm part of the two sides. I'm FDC and I'm People Power.
Okay.
But one thing I would like to emphasize on, the greatest thing, the baddest thing or the worst thing that would happen to Ugandans, let me say, if at all the elections will take place in 2021, will be the difference between His Excellency, Honorable Bobi Wine, Robert Chagulanyi, our leader in People Power, and His Excellency, my President, Dr. Chiza Besigye. I know the regime is working so hard to see that Bobi Wine and Dr. Besigye don't come to unity. That's obvious. But if that happens, then the people of Uganda are not fool anymore. The people of Uganda will decide because they have been awakened. They are sharp-minded right now. All we need is to see a unity between Dr. Besigye and Honorable Robert Chagulanyi. One last point I would like to make, my brother Kamara. If Dr. Besigye says he has been fighting for change in this country, and here comes a young generation in People Power, in Bobi Wine, what's the fuss of Dr. Besigye saying, okay, let's combine our powers, and we go on.
Okay. Unfortunately, we lost that line to Mr. Bimaru, but you had made your point, and we thank you very much.
Unity.
Yeah, okay. Let me take another caller online, maybe one or two, so that you can be able to respond to them at once. I have a call online. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you? I'm called Jackson Oriona.
I'm sorry, sir?
I'm calling from Houma.
What's your name, sir?
Jackson Oriona.
All right, go right ahead.
Yeah, I want to help Joel a bit. You know, Kamara, you were asking him how he's controlling their people. People Power being not an organization without a constitution, whereas you can have the leadership, the core leadership, it's very difficult to control and match the behavior of other people. For instance, if you organize a demonstration and you are walking in a procession and other people tell you, whereas they may know where you are going, it may be very difficult to determine how they will jump up and down, but at least you know they are there. So until it forms into an organization with a constitution and other guidelines, then the leaders can be held responsible.
Let me ask my technical team to add on the volume there, so that we can be able to hear that caller from Hoima with clarity. I can see my guests are struggling to hear what is going on. Could you conclude that, sir?
Hello?
Hello?
Mwebale program eyo basebo.
Kale sebo.
Nebaza omwogezi wa People Power Ssenyonyi. Okutuweereza obulungi naawe ajukubiriza obulungi wetyo. Kati nze nsinzidde ejjinja. Hello?
Yes, sebo.
Kati ekintu ekyobukofiiro bw'okubuwera. Nsuubira ndi kati
Oh, okay. It's a pity we lost that line to Ginger with the caller there. Perhaps we can take another caller, but at least you made an effort to call. Let me take just the last call online. Hello.
My name is Ginger.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from? All right. Unfortunately, that line too is not the best, and I have another call online. Hello.
Hello.
Good evening, sir. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Good evening, Kamala. My name is Namanya Nabosi.
Yes, Naboth.
I want to thank Honorable Ingrid Turinawe and Joel Ssenyonyi.
Okay.
Just my comment is going on the banning of the beret.
Mm-hmm.
I think the UPDF is not right to ban the beret. First of all, it should have been identified by the logo. If I buy a vehicle, for example, I buy a Toyota, and you also buy a Toyota, the difference should have been the number plate. The difference is the number plate, not the color, not the model of the vehicle.
Okay.
And therefore, for this matter, they make sure that they brand their beret for the case of UPDF, so that it is clearly different from that one of People Power. And they have nothing now to offer to the country. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Naboth Namanya. Okay, I'm closing the lines there, and then we're coming to the end of the show, but as you respond to the callers, you also make your concluding remark.
All right, so my brother Naboth Namanya, he talked about, yes, UPDF not being right to ban the beret. Actually, for us, we don't see it as a ban. Because this doesn't belong to them. They have gazetted what is theirs, the UPDF. So this is ours, and we'll keep wearing it. If they are saying they are banning this, let them say so, and then we can challenge them on that. Because what they did was gazetting theirs, and it's clear what theirs is. It has got the mark, the insignia, which is talked about in the UPDF Act sections 160, 161, all through to 165. So as far as we are concerned, there's no such thing as ban, legally speaking. Our colleague from Ginger, thanks a bunch for calling. Unfortunately, we were not able to hear much of what he was talking about. Houma from Houma, the line was bad. I don't know, they probably wanted to give us a bit of what happened in Houma. The line was not too clear. You asked for volume too, you know. But Richard said the difference between People Power and Dr. Kizza Besigye and the FDC and People's Government will be bad. You know, it's good that there gets to be unity. That's what Ugandans have been calling for. And we keep making efforts. We keep making efforts. I can tell you that we have had discussions, you know, with Dr. Kizza Besigye and his team, even as of this week. We meet very often with General Mugisha Muntu and his team, very often. We meet with General Norbert Mao and his team regularly. And we discuss, does that mean we agree on everything? No, but you keep building a relationship, and that's what is important, that you keep working together. And sometimes you might not even meet to talk politics, just meet, take tea, and just chat, and you're building a synergy, you're building a bond, you're building a trust, and that's important. We are doing everything we can because we feel it's important. Ugandans want us to unite. And then besides, especially if we say we are scoring the same goal, we are all interested in unity, why not try? So there are people that have told us, are you guys wasting time with this one? Why are you bothering? And we know, yeah, some people might have their reasons, valid or otherwise, and that's okay. If it didn't work at the time, you try again. You keep hope alive, and you keep trying because, you know, who knows? It just might happen.
Thank you very much. Ingrid, your response and concluding remark.
I want to thank the callers, but particularly I want to respond to or comment to the caller called Richard, who talked about unity. He's saying that FDC, Dr. Besigye and Honorable Kyagulanyi should unite. That is, I think that is what I captured. At the moment, as we said, there is a process that is going on, and I want to make it clear that this is not unity of pretense, but unity which would be meaningful. And now what is delaying us is that we have to unite the strategies first. The two entities, people's government, when I talk about people's government, I mean FDC, CP, TJ, you know, people's government has a number of cooperating entities. So what the people's government is doing with the people power, for us, we are requesting a unity in strategy first. Because people power is looking at elections alone. And for us,
no, that's not true. That's not true. That's just to say this, that we do look at elections. You see, we don't want 2021 to reach and we have not prepared and then we have got to participate. We are saying, let's prepare for the elections. And just to, you know, what you were saying, Honorable Kyagulanyi told you, we are saying, let's prepare massively for this. Let people become stakeholders, all right? Let's encourage them to come out and vote. Let's not discourage them. There have been challenges with elections, but encourage them, let them become stakeholders. When they become stakeholders,
you allowed him to disrupt me.
I'm just giving slight information.
He had concluded.
Yeah,
so you allowed him
just slight information, my elder sister. And I'm making a correction.
What you're saying is not true. So
yeah, because you misrepresented me, with all due respect, my elder sister. So the election is important, but as you organize massively for that, you are telling people be stakeholders and prepare to defend your victory.
All right.
So that's important. Otherwise, then what are you going to defend if you don't participate?
You're concluding arguments, Ingrid.
So what I'm saying, our strategy as people's government, we are saying we must not wait for 2021. We must act now. We deliberately start actions that will stop the junta, that will stop the dictatorship. And we are saying it's possible because it has happened worldwide. The independence struggle in India, the apartheid struggle, the struggle against apartheid in South Africa, the Arab Springs in which took Mubarak and Ben Ali in Tunisia and Egypt, the recent one in Sudan. We are saying we must start now, and that's what has delayed, even including delaying our actions 2019, because we wanted to go there as a team, not to start as just a few people. That's what we are talking about. But whatever happens, whether we agree or not, we will have to start moving as talks continue. Right. So Richard, I want to array your fears. We are working on the unity, but first, unity of strategy. We start with actions now. If Museveni is breast, which we don't think that it's going to happen, and he reaches elections, he must reach there when he's wounded, when he cannot rig, and when he cannot stay beyond that.
All right. Thank you very much, Ingrid. Turinawe, thank you very much, Joel Ssenyonyi, and all of you who have been a part of this, for watching and sending in your calling and sending in your ideas. And I, for one, I think we, the Ugandan people, deserve better, and I have faith in you, the Ugandan people, and your collective love for our country, that you choose the best for us. Good night and God bless Uganda.